Oh, hello, I didn't see you come in again. How are you tonight, friends? This is RJ, and this is Story Time with your favorite books. One moment. That tastes like peanut butter. Ah, yes. Thank you, Mortimer. Now, we left off last time with one of America's, yet even the world's favorite books, Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone. Tonight we move on in the series with Harry Potter and the Chamber of Secrets. Now, as I did last time, I will read you the summary given on the back of the book. Ever since Harry Potter had come home for the summer, the Dursley had been so mean and hideous that all Harry wanted was to get back to Hogwarts School for Witchcraft and Wizardry. But just as he's packing his bags, Harry receives a warning from a strange, impish creature who says that if Harry returns to Hogwarts, disaster will strike. Sorry, I just get so emotional. And strike it does. For in Harry's second year at Hogwarts, fresh torments and horrors arise, including an outrageously stuck-up new professor and a spirit who haunts the girls' bathroom. But then the real trouble begins. Someone is turning Hogwarts students to stone. Could it be Draco Malfoy, that little jerk, and a more poisonous rival than ever? Could it possibly be Hagrid, whose mysterious past is finally told? Or could it be the one that everyone at Hogwarts most expects? Harry Potter himself? Now, let's begin from the beginning, as it is in most things. I don't remember what the first chapter is called, but I think it's called The Boy Who Lived Part 2. So Harry is at home, and as it said on the back, his relatives are being quite jerky-ish again. Yes. So he's like, OMG, let me get back to Hogwarts before I bust a cap in these foos. Because wizards can use guns too. Anyway, he's in his room. He's like, thank God. I think I'd die. I was here for one more day and Hogwarts wasn't tomorrow. But this strange little creature by the name of Dobby, he's a house elf. He's like this little house elf. Who's a house elf? He's like, Harry Potter must not go back to Hogwarts ever. Well, just this year, really. And Harry's like, you trying to stop me from doing something I love? You must be out your mind. Dobby's like, if you go, bad things will happen. Harry's like, if I go, bad things will happen. If I don't go, bad things will happen. Maybe I should just go. Dobby's like, no. So he throws this pudding tart or some stuff like that on this guest of Aunt Petunia's. And it splatters over this British lady, and she gets all offended and cries. So then they're like, hey, you're not going back to that school. But then Ron Weasley's brothers, one of the 3009 kids that one Weasley lady has, picks them up in a flying car and steals Harry. Kidnapping charges are not pressed. All is well. They go to Diagon Alley and get this book from this new teacher. Oh, by the way, I forgot to mention, the post of Defense Against the Dark Arts teacher at Hogwarts never lasts for more than a year. They meet the new one. He's this crazy guy who's very pretty, but also a man. He's a pretty man. His name's Gilderoy Lockhart, and he thinks he's gorgeous. I think he's gorgeous too, by the description. So then they meet him, and it turns out he's a complete airhead. He's really annoying. You find him very annoying. I know I did. So then they go to Hogwarts and... no thank you, Mortimer. So they go to Hogwarts and Draco Malfoy is still a jerk. And then they hear about something happening with Mrs. Norris, who's this one guy's cat in Hogwarts, gets turned to stone. They blame Harry because he was right there. Of course, it always turns out that way. So then, that happens to like 3 people, and then they find out that the Chamber of Secrets has been opened. Now, what you didn't know is that it had been opened previously 50 years before, while Hagrid attended Hogwarts. Now, the story with that is, Harry Potter finds this diary that when he writes in it, it talks back. For some reason, he doesn't find this strange, so he works with it. It takes him back in time, and you see Hagrid as a little boy, even though he's not very little because he's a freaking giant. So, he has this thing hidden in a box, and they think that's what's killing students. So he gets expelled, but for some reason they keep him on to work there. Good old Albus Dumbledore. So then 50 years in the future, which is really the present. Yeah, that's about right. 50 years in the future, which is really the present. Hagrid's still there. He's not dead yet. He tries to explain, I'm not the killer of the Chamber of Secrets, nor is it Aragog, that giant spider which I hid in the cupboard. And then they go into the forest because Hagrid gets arrested because they think it's still him, even though the spider's long gone, and he doesn't have a wand, even though it's in his umbrella. They find the spider, it's like, my god, it's our worst enemy that's killing everybody. And then they come back after the spider tries to eat them, and they find out that Ron's little sister, again, one of the 9,000 Weasley children, is actually been possessed by this diary that Harry found, which is possessed by Lord Voldemort. At least part of him. We'll get to that later, in at least 4 episodes. So, Harry finds the snake, which is the thing that's been killing people and turning them into stone, and he stabs it in the face with a sword that he pulled out of the sorting hat, which was delivered by Dumbledore's phoenix, named Fawkes the Phoenix. So then he kills the basilisk and evil Lord Voldemort, which at the time his name is really Tom Riddle. He comes out of the book and he's very handsome. He's a very handsome man. He gets destroyed because Harry Potter pulls the snake fang out of his arm and stabs the book with it and destroys it. Ginny falls in love with him because of it, and Hermione still isn't hot in the book. I'm sorry to say. Harry Potter gets a lot of awards. That stupid teacher Gilderoy Lockhart, the pretty man, his memory gets erased by Ron, who really doesn't do anything valuable except for that. And Hermione still isn't hot. So, yeah. And that's about it. And that concludes tonight's story time with your favorite books. My name is RJ, and we just finished Harry Potter and the Chamber of Secrets. Thank you, Mortimer. Join us next week for Harry Potter 3, aka Harry Potter and the Prisoner of Azkaban. Mortimer, did you finish my hot chocolate? I hate you. You bastard.